This is World War I, Part 1. So the beginning of this lecture will be talking about the causes of World War I, which is also your first essential question. What were the causes of World War I? So that'll be homework tonight, along with 4 other Q&As. So don't forget to do the first one. Now let's start talking about World War I in general. Also called the Great War, along with the War to End All Wars. At this time, this will be the biggest war that we have ever seen. And as we'll see, it will basically involve every continent. So that's why we see the World War there. This was during a time of reform in the United States. We're right in the midst of the Progressive Era. The world was facing many of the same challenges as we were at the time. Due to our imperialism as well as imperialism elsewhere, a lot of people did not like us. In fact, hated us because of the way that we have abused some of these people, especially in the Americas. We've done a lot of good things, but a lot of people still see us as infringing on their country, infringing on their rights. Countries don't always want Coca-Cola or McDonald's. And it takes us a long time, and some people still believe that, we still aren't seeing that. So, once again, it depends on what you think. So that's basically what's going on in the world at the time. Now, rumblings began. It was already seen at this time that there was going to be a war. There were signs that there were going to be a war. We see early peace attempts made as early as 1889 with the Pan-American Union. This was a series of peace treaties between countries in the Americas, and they were designed to create friendship between those countries. So before we would go to war, we seek out a peace agreement with them. That was basically our agreement with the Americas. We also see in 1896 the first modern-day Olympics, which is why the Olympic rings are down here. Got the Olympics coming up this year as well. This will be the first modern-day Olympics in Greece, and the purpose of that is to bring countries together to compete athletically. And basically, you're supposed to stop all fighting if there's any fighting or things like that. And usually that's what happens. But that was actually seen as an early attempt to kind of stop the war from happening, even though we're still about, at this point, 18 years from that happening. The Hague Conferences. In 1899 and then again in 1907, this was at The Hague in the Netherlands, and basically they came up with 2 things. The World Court of Arbitration and the Drago Doctrine. And basically what it said is you could not use force or go to war just because you owed another country money. You would have to go through the World Court of Arbitration first. And then, if they didn't pay after that, then war could be declared. So basically, you could not start a war over money, is what the Drago Doctrine said. If you would like to go to war over that purpose, then you would first have to go to the World Court of Arbitration. This is like an early form of the League of Nations, and then which would be an early form of the United Nations, which is still in existence today. So it's a baby step in the right direction. But as we'll see, not very effective. It also outlined the rules of warfare. I know that sounds crazy, but believe it or not, there are rules to warfare, which basically is how you treat prisoners, and even would place limits on what type of weapons you could use. And we have those rules today as well. For instance, chemical weapons are supposed to be banned, although As we know, some countries have continued to make those, including the United States. We have a stockpile of those too for whatever reason. Now here's the main point here: the causes of World War I. Okay, this is the objective of this lecture. The first one, nationalism. Okay, pride in your country. Obviously, between the 1870s and 1900s, it was a time of empire building. Great powers acted in their own national interests. They were trying to build their empires. When that action went against another nation, okay, a result is going to be war. Okay, so pride in one's country, and we really see that. The most famous example is Germany, obviously, but we'll see it in America too. Okay, another kind of nationalism that is very important and something that we have to recognize is nationalism that takes place with the ethnic minorities in larger empires. Okay, and the most famous example is Austria. Okay, we've already seen at this time in history, we've already seen a country gain their independence from Austria, and it's going to be a hot spot for World War I called Serbia. They've already gained their independence from this. It's an ethnic minority, and the other minorities in Austria want the same. So we have that kind of nationalism too, and we see that in the Ottoman Empire as well, which is now in today Turkey. So that's going to be part of it too. So nationalism can be good and it can be bad. It really just is decided on which side you're on. Okay? The second cause is imperialism. Okay? And imperialism is where countries compete for land, colonies, resources. Rivalries will come out of this. Okay? Especially the biggest one at this point was England and Germany. They hated each other just because they were pitted against each other in many of these imperialistic rivalries. And we also see Japan rise up as a colonial power starting in 1895. So all this is brewing toward a conflict, and it's basically over competition. Jealousy. There's a great picture of the German Empire political cartoon. Jealousy between nations. And militarism. Okay, jealousy led to militarism. Countries competed with each other, so they were going to build up their military size and strength. The militarism is the glorification of the military, and we really see that. A great example is in Germany, but it's all over Europe as well. You see it in America too, just a little bit later. So glorification of the military, as these rivalries increase and intensify, we'll see that military buildup as well. A system of alliances. Okay, countries are going to side with each other. They're going to draw a line in the sand. We're with this side, we're with that side. Okay, and that's going to really cause the world war, because if one country is attacked, another country is going to get involved. And it becomes what we call the tangle of alliances. The Triple Alliance will be the Central Powers. Okay, that will be Germany. There's Germany's flag. Austria-Hungary's flag, the dual empire, the dual monarchy, the two colors, and then that's Italy. Okay. And that is an alliance. Basically, if one country is attacked, another country will be attacked. And we'll see, actually, Italy will actually stay out of this for a little bit. And then the Triple Entente. An Entente isn't as necessarily as strong. It's more of an agreement rather than a strong alliance, but still the same idea. And here we have England, France, Great Britain, and then there's Russia's flag. Okay, and here's a great example. This is a picture of the tangle of alliances. You can see the different symbols here of who they are. There's Germany, Austria-Hungary, Russia, Great Britain. There's India portrayed, Italy, Okay, so you can see it's kind of a mess here, but that's what's gonna bring this in. That's what's gonna make it a world war. So one little problem is gonna lead to a world war. Okay, and also something that needs to be recognized is the relatives. Okay, Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany. These guys were all cousins. There's King George V of Great Britain and Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. George V and Nicholas II were first cousins. Nicholas and Wilhelm were second cousins once removed. You can see the resemblance here. This George V and Nicholas is kind of scary. They almost look like twins. Okay? And even here, Wilhelm and Nicholas as well. So there's also family rivalries going on that can't be ignored either. So we got to keep that in mind as well. Kind of creepy, those pictures. Now, the balance of power. The event that's actually going to start the war is the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Okay? Here he is, just moments before he and his wife are shot and assassinated. They were assassinated by Serbian nationalists. And the guy that actually pulled the trigger is a man named Gavrilo Princip, P-R-I-N-C-I-P. The Black Hand is behind this, although Gavrilo was not a member of the Black Hand. Okay? He will actually be arrested and die in prison. He actually tried to kill himself. That didn't work. But he'll actually die in prison in 1918 at the end of the war. And basically the story goes of how this happened. Very quickly, they were going down a parade route in Austria. Okay? They were in Sarajevo, which was controlled by Austria at the time. And they were going down this parade route. Long story short, there was an attempt on his life before the final shots happened. A security guard was injured. They go to the hospital to see how that security guard was doing. Franz Ferdinand was furious at the attempt on his life, and they were supposed to go. He was supposed to give a speech, and they were just going to go directly there. Well, they forgot to tell the driver. The driver went down the original parade route, actually even took a wrong turn, and they turned right into Gavrilo Princip, who was just waiting for him, and basically shot them dead at point blank. Then everything goes crazy. Okay, Austria then blames Serbia for the assassination because Gavrilo Princip was a Serbian nationalist. Now, Serbia really had nothing to do with this, according to them. Okay, this actually took place inside the Austria-Hungary Empire. But they're going to put the blame on Serbia. So they're going to issue an ultimatum. Okay, Francis Joseph, who was the emperor of Austria-Hungary, wants an apology for the assassination, which would mean that Serbia would have to take the blame for it. They also wanted to capture everybody involved, and they had a 24-hour period to do this, which is the ultimatum. I mean, there's no way. They can't meet that. There's no way they can catch those people in 24 hours. At the same time, Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany is pushing Francis Joseph of Austria-Hungary to go to war. And he actually gives them what's called the blank check. He gives them the blank check and says, just go. We'll give you whatever you need, whatever you want. It's yours. And because of that, on July 28th, 1914, there's Francis Joseph, Austria-Hungary declares war, and it sets off this chain of events leading to World War I. Okay? Russia is going to protect their little brother, who they believe is Serbia, And Russia begins to mobilize, and then just everything goes crazy. Okay. Austria-Hungary was worried about Russia. Russia was warned them to stay away from the border. Germany was Austria's chief ally. They warned Russia to stop mobilizing their troops. Russia's ally France then prepared their own troops. I mean, it just gets crazy. Okay, and I'm going to show you this. You do not have to write this down. Okay, this is just to show you how quickly this all went down. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia on July 28th. Germany declares war on Russia. France invaded by Germany August 2nd. Germany declared war on France August 3rd. Belgium invaded by Germany. Belgium was a neutral country. That's a whole other story what we'll get into. August 3rd. Germany declared war on Belgium August 4th. United Kingdom declared war on Germany August 4th. Australia and Canada declare on the 4th. Blah, 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 blah. You can read this. Okay? And just looking at that, does that look like everybody was trying to avoid the war, or is this the excuse to let the party begin? Okay, and that's where we'll stop today. Stay classy, Vandalia.